Sometimes these things happen in MMA.
What's going on, fight fans? Welcome to These Things Happen in MMA. The goal of this channel is to highlight crazy and spectacular moments that have made mixed martial arts into what it is today. Don't forget to follow the channel on social media at These Things MMA, and the link to my merch shop is in the description below. In this episode, I'm going to talk about Royce Gracie's journey at UFC 2, which featured the first and only 16-man tournament in the promotion's history. This is the story of Royce Gracie winning 4 fights in one night. The beginning of mixed martial arts as we know it today can't be brought up without mentioning the Gracie family and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. When UFC 1 burst into the scene in 1993, Royce would shock the entire martial arts world when he dominated the first tournament and defeated 3 men in one night. Royce effectively showed that technique can overcome size and strength, and the Gracie family established Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as an elite martial art.
You are the first ever and the ultimate fighting champion. What's going through your mind right now?
I thank to my brother, my family for to teach me this and to give me the chance, the opportunity to go through this.
What are you going to do with the money?
I'm gonna go to Disneyland.
You going to Disneyland?
With the success of UFC 1 and the intrigue about a skinny Brazilian kid dominating the tournament, the second event received much more interest. Because there were so many applicants, co-creators Art Davie and Campbell McLaren decided that UFC 2 would be a 16-man tournament, double the number of competitors from UFC 1's 8-man bracket. This also meant that the finalists would be required to fight 4 times in one night. With over 10 different styles of martial arts entering the tournament, the Gracie family was again determined to prove that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was superior. UFC 2 featured a format change, and the company parted ways with the multiple round system in exchange for one continuous round with no time limit. Promotion for the event again relied heavily on the organization's unofficial motto of "There are no rules," and according to the official press release, there were only 2 suggestions: no eye gouging and no biting.
The second UFC was 4 fights in one night. It was a 16-man tournament with no gloves, no time limit, no weight division, no rules. The only thing that you couldn't do, it was biting and eye gouging. Everything else, kick on the groin, all good. Go for it.
UFC 2 was also the first event to feature iconic referee Big John McCarthy. However, in the beginning, he wouldn't be allowed to stop fights on his own, as the UFC 2 rulebook stated that only the fighter or their corner could end a match.
The fighters were either supposed to tap out or the corner was supposed to stop the fight. I was stuck in a position where I couldn't stop the fight because the corner had not thrown in the towel or the fighter had not tapped out.
UFC 2 took place on March 11, 1994 and was held at the Mammoth Garden Arena in Denver, Colorado. Announcers for the event were broadcaster Brian Kilmeade, retired NFL superstar Jim Brown, and Hollywood stuntman Ben Perry. The first 7 bouts of the tournament wouldn't air on the live pay-per-view due to time constraints, and the first contest shown was the opening round matchup between Royce Gracie and Minoki Ichihara. Hailing from Japan, Ichihara held a second-degree black belt in karate and was the smallest man in the tournament, standing at 5'7" and weighing 178 pounds. The contest started with the short filling out process before Royce shot in for a takedown and immediately mounted Ichihara. The karate black belt latched onto Gracie for dear life as Royce locked in both hooks and landed strikes to the head and body. It was clear Ichihara was out of his element on the ground, and to make matters worse, the fighters happened to be right next to the Gracie corner where Royce could receive instructions from his family. After softening up Ichihara and remaining in mount for well over 4 minutes, a scramble occurred that led to Royce locking in a lapel choke and ending the contest by submission 5 minutes and 8 seconds in. With the opening round victory secured, Royce would find himself matched up against a familiar opponent in the quarterfinals. Jason DeLucia was a 24-year-old taekwondo and kung fu fighter from Boston, Massachusetts with over 15 years of experience. On his journey to better himself as a martial artist, DeLucia came across the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu School in California and challenged Royce to a gym fight. The match can be seen on Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in Action Volume 2, and Jason would last less than 2 minutes before submitting to Royce from strikes while in a mounted triangle.
Okay, stop.
DeLucia also held the distinct honor of winning the very first bout in UFC history when he defeated Trent Jenkins by rear naked choke at UFC 1, fighting as an alternate in the tournament.
Jason, where are you at your best? Are your feet on the ground? Are you able to go just as short both ways?
It depends on the fighters. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu had a big influence on the way I fight from this point on. So it's been altered. So I'm both a stand-up and a ground fighter now.
Then in the opening round at UFC 2, he defeats Scott Baker with strikes while a mounted triangle, similar to his defeat at the Gracie gym, and the victory would set up a rematch with Royce in the quarterfinals. To start the contest, Jason threw a jumping sidekick that was partially blocked by Royce and subsequently broke DeLucia's right leg within the first few seconds of the fight. The bout then went to the ground with DeLucia momentarily on top until Royce was able to reverse the position. After securing mount for nearly a minute, Royce found an opportunity to lock in a deep armbar that severely hyperextended Jason's arm and forced him to tap out just 1 minute and 7 seconds in. With 2 fights down, the semifinals was next, and Royce would be matched up against another grappler. Remco Pardoel was a Dutch fighting pioneer who practiced judo as well as taekwondo, and recently became a jiu-jitsu champion in Denmark prior to the tournament. Standing at 6'4" and weighing 260 pounds, he also had a huge size advantage over the smaller Gracie. Pardoel found himself in the semifinals after tapping out Alberto Serra Leon with a forearm choke in the opening round and defeating Orlando Veit with vicious elbow strikes in the quarterfinals.
Remco, we saw you in the gym, you were a monster in the gym, calm, and here you were just as calm till you won. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I looked for my chance and I grabbed it. I didn't expect to win.
You didn't expect to win?
I thought he was a tough guy.
When the contest started, Remco almost looked frozen as the two men sized each other up, and after a brief moment, Royce would close the distance and take the Dutchman's back. Eventually, Royce got the fight to the ground and began working towards securing Pardoel's neck. After 1 minute and 31 seconds, Remco would succumb to a lapel choke, and Royce advanced to the finals of the tournament. Years later, in an interview with Sherdog, Pardoel paid respects to Royce and talked about their historic fight. The best way to learn something is to compete in it. Royce was the man to compete against. He was, and I still think, the better man. He won fair and square. I am proud that I am one of the people who had the honor to compete with the legend of the cage. Patrick Smith was a highly ranked American kickboxer with a black belt in taekwondo and happened to also compete at UFC 1. Although he lost in the first round, Smith was invited to compete at UFC 2 and he dispatched all three of his opponents in impressive fashion. In the opening round, he submitted Ray Wizard by guillotine choke in just under a minute. In the quarterfinals, he defeated Scott Morris in one of the worst beatings of the early UFC days and only took 30 seconds to do so. And in the semifinals, he submitted Johnny Rhodes in 1 minute and 7 seconds for his second guillotine choke of the tournament. Patrick's total fight time of 2 minutes and 35 seconds was less than half of Royce's, and Smith was full of confidence heading into the finals.
Patrick, that was a terrific fight. All your fights have been short. Why is that?
Easy opponents.
Is it because you got the
number one shoot fighter to beat me last time? Now I'm getting good at ground fighting and choke, standing up. No one can really take me down yet.
The last match of the night would be both competitors' fourth fight in just under 3 hours, and the bout was met with high anticipation. The contest began with hesitancy from both fighters for the first 20 seconds, until Patrick moved within striking range on the feet and was taken down by Royce. During the scramble, Royce would end up in top position and easily took mount seconds later. It was quickly evident that Patrick had no answer for Royce on the ground, and after a few blows to the head, Smith tapped out while his corner threw in the towel. With the stoppage, Royce defended his championship by defeating 4 men in one night and earned $60,000 in the process.
Royce, it was a wonderful match. You did a terrific job again. You did it twice. You're the ultimate warrior once again, the ultimate champion. What do you think about that?
They're all tough guys. They're all very good in what they're doing. But it's jiu-jitsu all the way.
Was there any special training? Were you worried about anyone?
This is my special train over here. Those guys are.
Last time you said you're going to Disneyland. Where are you going this time?
I'm going to go skiing. I'm going to go rest a little bit and get ready for the next one.
After winning UFC 2, Royce would continue his legendary career, defeating 3 men in one night to win the UFC 4 tournament as well. Royce also participated in the longest matches in both UFC and Pride history when he rematched Ken Shamrock at UFC 5 for 36 minutes and fought Kazuyoshi Sakuraba for a staggering 90 minutes in the 2000 Pride Grand Prix finals. When the UFC introduced their Hall of Fame in 2003, Royce Gracie and Ken Shamrock have become the first inductees as part of the promotion's 10th anniversary celebration.
I'd like to thank my brother Pardoel for creating the show. If it wasn't for him, none of us would be here tonight. Of course, the fans for their support, Dana White and Zuffa, but to have the courage to continue my family create long time back in Brazil, my father, my family. Thank you.
Legendary Royce Gracie!
UFC 2 would be the only 16-man tournament in the promotion's history, and Royce Gracie achieved heights that no one will accomplish again due to the evolution of MMA. Royce, along with the whole Gracie family, are responsible for helping shape mixed martial arts as we know it today, so let us never forget this incredible family and Royce's amazing achievements. As always, I posted some related material in the description for those interested. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below with the topic you'd like to hear me cover in a future episode. Again, don't forget to follow the channel on social media at These Things MMA, and the link to my merch shop is in the description below. Thanks for watching and supporting my channel.
On the first UFC, I think a lot of people thought it was fake. A lot of people thought it was like, that was set up for him to win. There's no way. The smallest, be able to beat those guys, nah, that easy without taking a punch, without beating up anybody, just subduing them, controlling them. After the second one, that's when people were like, wow.
Sometimes these things happen in MMA.